This episode is sponsored by FrontrunnerNewJersey.com, your digital publication that covers South Jersey, and Fruition Life Media, preserving family legacies through video tributes, and Creative Content on Demand, your multimedia marketing company for all businesses.
Hi, well, welcome to another episode of BizTalk UnLocked with James and April Ward. And our guest today is the most interesting realtor in Delaware, Will Weber.
Welcome to the show, Will.
You do have fake applause, right?
Yes, we can add that in there. Right there, people will get to know your personality straight
Right.
off.
I definitely want to thank you for being a veteran, for your service that you've put in for over the years. And we really appreciate you for doing that. Can you talk a little bit about that background?
6 years of Catholic school was perfect training to be in the Army because Catholic school and the Army is all about, it's all about knowing when you're being watched. And that's when you perform best. Sorry. Although, remember when I said I hitchhiked from Delaware to California and back? I was number 43 in the draft. So I really didn't have a whole lot of say in what was going on. And my decision was to make the most of it while I could, which made me Vietnam eligible, and I was for 11 months. And I might be one of the youngest Vietnam vets you'll ever meet because when I was there, I did not know anyone younger than I was. And luck of the draw, or maybe I earned it. I also am a Bronze Star Award Vietnam vet. Paid for college, paid for my medical and stuff. And I have great stories to tell.
Wow. Well, we really appreciate you and for your services and dedication to this country. And for that, we are living in a much safer place. Clarifies why he's the most interesting realtor in Delaware. You know?
Yeah.
Part of what I do is I do what everybody else does with a Will flair. I'm one of the first 10 realtors in Delaware who put a picture on a business card. Everybody does it now. Nobody did it then. These are the things that I do that no one else does. I'm the first realtor in Delaware who's also a licensed drone pilot.
That's
So
right.
my clients get all kinds of serious exposure and out of the box advertising to make amazing good things happen for the benefit of my client. I didn't mean to take
Okay.
that away from you, James, but
No, we'll definitely we'll double back to that, no doubt. But the first question I have for you today, can you walk us through the inspiration or the aha moment that led you to start your business, and which is realty?
ah, um, this is a story that will go much better when it isn't being recorded, but I I can clean it up a little bit for you.
Okay, thanks.
Having
Family show.
you can okay, and really, James, edit the heck out of this if you must. The whole truth is, 40 years ago, it was last call at a college bar down
Mhm.
the street, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, this is when people were still allowed to smoke cigarettes inside of buildings. The lights are coming on, and the girl next to me, who I've known for years, who I knew just as well as I wanted to, but she said, "What are you doing tomorrow morning?" And I wasn't sure if that was a pickup line or not. So I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Pick me up at 8 o'clock in the morning. We're going to go register for the real estate course."
Oh, wow.
So I picked her up at 8 in the morning and we registered for the real estate course. It was a whim. It was a lucky accident.
Wow.
She's not a realtor and I still am.
And fast forward now, how long have you been in the real estate game?
40 years
Wow.
almost. So
Wow.
I've been licensed as a realtor for 36, 37. I lose track. And before I was licensed, I was an appraiser. So I worked for an appraisal company, which technically values homes to approve or disprove
Oh.
loans for buyers. The buyer wants to buy the house. The buyer thinks they own the house. The buyer does not own the house. It's owned by the bank. And the bank can only make that happen if the bank can justify a value certified by an appraiser. So there's the license this long, but I also have this experience behind me.
The next question I have is, what were some of the challenges you faced during the initial stages of setting up your business?
Sadly, and I guess this applies not just in real estate, but in life, if your heart is bigger than your brain, you will
Mm,
try to help the people who can't be helped when the best use of your brain is to help the people where you're going to get paid for your work.
mm.
Oof.
Don't
Wow.
trust
Wow.
blindly. Well, here's what's possible.
Yeah.
But when a client wants something that's impossible, it only takes a lot of work to fail. And so you have to learn to say no sometimes.
All right, so I just want to interject that we met Will from a networking chambers meeting, and the fact that we met him in New Jersey,
Right.
Will practice in the state of Delaware. How did you decide on your target market or customer base, and what steps did you take to reach them?
Why do you encourage people to buy in Delaware?
It's affordable. Go to the Costco. You'll see Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York license plates because
Oh,
Delaware doesn't have sales tax. Call me. Let's talk about the difference between what you're paying in real estate tax and what we pay in real estate tax. And
Mm,
I actually partnered with a couple of financial planners. I asked them what is their target audience, and I asked if I could save somebody $10,000 a year, and they dedicate that $10,000 to investments and financial planning. Would you be interested? So I had the door open for a number of financial planners because in Delaware, saving $10,000 a year in real estate taxes is easy. So if somebody is 30 years old, they have 50 years to live, I'm saving them $10,000 a year for the rest of their life. The financial planner wins, the client wins, and the realtor can pay his bills.
wow. Wow. We're packing our bags.
right.
Now we're getting away from the heart of your question. You asked, where do I, pick my demographic for my clients?
Mhm.
Uh, that's way too easy. Okay, everybody has a house, or everybody wants a house. If you have one, you need one bigger or better, or downsize or more modern, whatever your need is. If you don't have one, any house is the right house because I make it very simple. It's not like I will or won't work in a certain zip code or price range. The Will Weber rules, and there's really only two of them. Can't buy it if you can't afford it. Can't buy it if it doesn't exist.
Mm,
So all I need to do is find reasonable people with comfortable expectations with a lender approval with a property that's for sale. I can match a buyer and a seller. That is only half of what I do though, because I also can work with sellers. And as a realtor with a drone license, I do things that no one else does legally. And I do things that draw people to my client so that my seller will succeed.
Was there a defining moment when you knew your business was going to succeed, or was it more of a gradual realization?
Wow. I can't wait till I get till that moment when it'll succeed. um, well,
Well, 40 years.
okay, I'm a slow learner. Remember, my heart is bigger than my brain. Um, there are so many moving parts in any transaction. If I'm working with a buyer, if I'm working with a seller, if I'm
Yeah.
working with a repeat customer, there are this many moving parts. And if any one of them isn't working, the whole thing can go south. The whole thing. Now I should take this, I have two customers for whom I've done 5 transactions each. So I must be doing something right because I get repeat business and referral business and I get to work with them again. So
Right, it's
that
that
means,
loyalty. Mhm.
well, they either like what I did or they hope I learn for the next time. But what I really, total strangers become clients, clients become friends. Um, and it's not rocket science. You have to listen to what the client needs and wants. Need is different than want. That's a different video. Um, but you also have to limit. Oh wait, you you need all of this, but you can afford over here. We're going to go over here.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this question. So, in any business that you start, it requires some type of financial backing. How did you secure initial fundings or resources to get started? And what advice would you give others looking to raise capital for their ventures in real estate?
Okay, I have good news and bad news, James. We probably should have talked about this before the interview. It's too easy to get a license in any
Mm,
state. And really, it's not like I have to have inventory. The multi-list system or Zillow or Realtor.com, these are the places where inventory lives. I don't have to own a house to sell a house or
mm,
show a house. The minimums are 99 hours of classes, five or $600 to pay for the class, join the local board of realtors, get whatever associations that you need. Um, you know, bring a business card with you so that you can get it copied and painted and printed. Um, find a broker to work for. You can be a realtor under $1,000.
wow. Wow. You hear
Well,
that, people?
now don't do it that way because it's expensive. You don't get paid for the work you do. You get paid for taking spectators and turning them into settlements. And that
Mm,
also might
Mm,
be a different video because it's easy to get into this work. I used to track where are my clients. And in 1 year, I had, this many sales. I had 3 people who went out and got their real estate license. Clearly, I made it too easy. I made it look easy because they lasted a year. It is not
mm,
easy. It is not fun.
mhm.
It's a 7 days per week, 24/7 hours a day, 24. It's a bigger commitment than you think because
mm.
because when do people want to see a house? When they're not working. That means you're working when they're not.
Right.
Or they work night shift, you get to show them in the day. Or they have time on the weekend, you get to show them on a weekend.
What role did networking and mentorship play in your business's early development?
Networking is huge. And you all know that I show up, and one of the first things I do is a selfie picture. Here's where I am. And then I'll take pictures of people where I am so that I can follow up with them so they remember who I am. In my first 2, 3 years, I had some excellent mentor opportunities. And it was perfect timing because in my first 2, 3 years, I never got tired. My memory worked. Everything was
Oh,
really, it happens.
yeah.
Yeah. So I was a bundle of energy that needed to be directed. And my very first sales manager was vice president of the company, previous board of realtors president. Um, I loved him like an uncle. He was just a nice man who helped me see things better. And the next mentor I had was vice president of sales for new construction at the company where I worked. And he saw my potential and helped me develop a skill about saying what I'm thinking because I had some interesting thoughts, but also a little more alert about customer service. So Sid and Dave, those were the two mentors that I really Well, I thank them for making my first few years as exciting and profitable as they were.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. We're going to transition from the early days of business to business growth and current operations. Since launching, how has your business evolved in terms of products, services, or target audience?
I don't know that what I do for serving a client has changed. I have a house to sell, I put a sign in the ground, I advertise. I have buyers who want to buy a particular property. I have access to information that civilians don't have, which is why you need a realtor to do it right. Probably the biggest things that did change are external to me. The internet makes every amateur look like an expert and vice versa.
Mm.
Um, Expectations have changed a little bit. Too many people watch 3 or 4 episodes of HGTV and they know how to flip a house because they saw someone else do it in what, 22 minutes? It's a 30-minute show with 8 minutes of commercials. Is that how that goes? And
Yep,
suddenly they're the
got it.
experts. So everything that they learn, I get to unteach them. Nothing that I do is different, except, I'm a realtor with a basement studio with, a card reader and not one, but 3 drones under my table where, what I do is really it's marketing. So, the technology evolves, but the
Right.
job description did not. I used to have salt and pepper hair.
Uh-huh.
Cool. Today we have salt and sugar, and I'm happy to point out one thing that did change. This is proof that I used to have black hair.
Okay, cool, cool.
7th grade. But the whole point really is the same voices in my head, the same enthusiasm, the same passion for who I am and what I do to serve a client is still here. The tools that I use are different.
I got one thing to say, Will, is that at least you do have hair.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yes, I do.
So, what are the most important strategies you've implemented to scale your business, and how do you keep things innovative?
I guess the obvious thing is you need to be alert to whatever the new technology is, what's the new thing. I was the third person I knew that had a Palm Pilot. Now, when I need to make notes on anything, I make notes on my Palm Pilot, and people think it's nutty, but I know this is working because they're going to remember that I know what a Palm Pilot is. And okay, after I wash my hands, the note goes away. But the whole point really is be alert to the competition, the technology. What are they doing that might work? The person who invented drones wasn't thinking of real estate. He was thinking of the cost to not rent a helicopter for $50,000 for a weekend to shoot a movie somewhere. And they decided, oh, wait, it's a tool. No, now it's a toy. Now it's, you know, there's all kinds of
Mhm.
ways to look at it. So you need to watch the technology that's coming toward us and pick the pieces that can be added, that can be scaled using your word for the business that I have. The rest of it is because there's so much information and misinformation, along with the Department of Justice, National Association of Realtors class action suit that settled. It's being appealed, but all of the rules that used to work for 100 years got rewritten. All of the paperwork is different from August 17th, 2024, about representation and disclosure. And if you want to know more about the current rules, I'm equipped to teach that class. So call me, because everything that used to work smoothly is now not working smoothly.
Our next question is, as a business owner, what do you find most fulfilling about running your company? Are there aspects you enjoy more than others?
Yes and yes. I'm listening to your question and I'm thinking, geez, James, that was easy. Payday. Payday is why we do everything we do. Um, and the thrill, I solved a problem for some nice people who otherwise would have either bad representation, a crappier house, whatever. Um, I like the joy of success, but payday is always part of it. And success, where is it? And success is something that I do that no one else does because I'm the most interesting realtor in Delaware. At settlement, I will show up with this, and this is my housewarming present for my buyer or my seller. And this is, everybody thinks, oh, goody, we're having drinks with settlement. And settlement, okay, it's where the buyer gets keys, the seller gets money. It's really kind of mechanical. And I breathe life into that by saying, this is your housewarming present.
Wow.
And
That is
in
perfect. I
my
mean,
history,
even
I've given away more than 400 of these.
Wow.
And it's a fire extinguisher with a 15-year shelf life. And depending on who I'm giving it to, I'll follow people home. I'll hang the fire extinguisher where it should be because too many people have a fire extinguisher in the cabinet above the stove. Your stove is
Mhm.
the most likely place to have a house fire. Don't put the cabinet or don't put the stove in the fire where you can't reach the fire extinguisher. But if you have a cordless drill and you take this bracket and you stick it inside the pantry in the kitchen, it's there forever.
Mhm.
And every time that anybody opens the pantry, there's my smiling face with my fire extinguisher, with the gauge that says how many years it has left before it expires. And you always know where this is if you do have a house fire. And you didn't put it where the fire was. You put it 5 steps away so that somebody can get to it if necessary.
so looking ahead, where do you see your business in the next 5 to 10 years? And are there any specific goals or milestones you're working towards?
I'm not sure where I see business in the future because everything changes. And when you think you know what's going on, you're wrong.
Mhm.
Example, uh, Zillow and Rocket Mortgage will take your house because they have all the tax records and data from everybody, from every realtor who ever advertised at Zillow from 10 years ago. Zillow has that name, that address, that house description. So Zillow knows everything about that house. Zillow and Realtor.com have begun a process where buyers and sellers don't even have to meet to buy or sell a house.
Mm.
These third party experts, who are really just information hoarders, are creating the, a situation where they are the market. Did that make
Mhm.
sense? Think about what a
Yeah.
realtor
Mhm.
does. You know about the house, you advertise the house. But if people who have insomnia and a computer think they have the skills that they don't need to talk to a person, why
Mm.
talk to a person if I know there's a house that some owner put on Zillow or Redfin or Rocket Mortgage or whatever? They put it on the market without a realtor, with or without any experience in the state or the local laws, and some buyer is going to see it with or without experience about where the Superfund site is or how bad the schools are, and just everybody thinks that they want my money. So where do I see
Wow.
things? There's no way to know where the future is going. No way. ideally, because I'm 72, I don't want to do this forever. Ideally, wealthy women with low standards want some of this. What? And then they call, and
And then
then
they
we
call.
interview, and then they interview. You know, James and April run my social media, so I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn and other places that, you know,
That
what other
you
credentials do
can
you
be
need?
found.
Right,
My
right, right.
healthcare is paid for forever.
Uh,
Um, I'm housebroken. I talk English good, but that was before. Um, so pretty exciting stuff, right? Aren't you glad you asked?
yes, yes.
I was telling Jim like 5 to 10 years, and he's like, "No, he's gonna have a good answer for that
Yes,
one."
I know.
It's like you gotta ask that one. I was like,
And you proven my statement to be true.
right.
But no, we really enjoyed
Mhm.
talking with you and learning about, your walk and your journey as a realtor and the success and how you navigated throughout the years and to be able to continue to do what you've been doing for 40 years. That's amazing. I think anybody who aspires to be a realtor, this is something that they definitely want to, just hit replay because you dropped a lot of nuggets, a lot of
Yes.
gems in there that, that was funny, but also serious at the same time.
When you have
Mhm.
something to learn, it sticks better if it's fun. So I do make it fun, and I'm happy to do that. And that to me makes sense. So if you Google my phone number, you will know all kinds of things that are fun and truthful and useful. I am Will at willweberhomes.com. I am on LinkedIn at Will Weber / LinkedIn because I had a LinkedIn profile very early in the game. Will Weber Homes YouTube, and Weber has two B's.
But listen, we love you. You're welcome anytime to be on the show, and we really appreciate you. And we're glad that we can call you our friend. You're very special to us, and I'm pretty sure those who come in contact with you and will come in contact with you will find that to be true as well. Thank you so much.
You're very kind.